Hello everyone, and welcome to SHP Insight. My name is Andrew Butler, and I'm the Dean of the School of Health Professions. Today's guest is Amy Goss, an assistant professor in our Department of Nutrition Sciences and assistant director of the Metabolism Core in our Nutrition Obesity Research Center. Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. Tell us a little bit about your background and since you've joined UAB.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess my initial interest in nutrition science goes way back to my life experience growing up. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at a very young age at 2. Before I can even remember, I've been counting carbohydrates and learning how to dose insulin and things like that. And I was really fortunate to have a family that really just took hold of learning all they could about nutrition. As a part of that, and as the care of someone with type 1 diabetes growing up, I would see a lot of registered dietitians, and they were just really important in educating my family, really sparked my interest in what it looked like to have a healthy diet and take care of a disease or a condition. So I'd learned about the reputation that UAB has, the School of Health Professions, the Department of Nutrition Sciences. So it was my number one choice for a dietetic internship so I could become a registered dietitian. Really, from outstanding mentorship in the Department of Nutrition Sciences is when I found a passion for nutrition research. So I completed the year of a dietetic internship, became a registered dietitian, and then completed my master's and PhD in this school. So I owe a lot to the School of Health Professions, and this has really been home for me for a very long time.
You won a Thrasher's Early Career Development Award. How has that helped you as a developing scientist?
It funded a study where we wanted to test the effects of diet composition and the ability of diet to reverse fatty liver disease in kids. So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease has emerged as the most common form of liver disease among children. The younger an individual develops fatty liver, they could go on to have cirrhosis and even liver transplant by the time they're a young adult if it's not treated. And the thing about fatty liver disease also is there's no drug to directly reverse it. So the only thing that pediatricians and hepatologists can rely on is lifestyle factors. Improving diet quality, physical activity, all these things can help reverse fatty liver, but there really is not a strong evidence base of what that diet should look like. With the Thrasher Fund, we were able to do a randomized clinical trial. It was a pilot study, pretty small sample size, but we were able to see that a moderately carbohydrate restricted diet, the kids that were on that diet lost about a third of their liver fat in that really short period of time. So we were really excited about those results. Anyway, we were very successful with that pilot study. So if it weren't for the Thrasher Fund grant, we wouldn't have been able to go in for the larger NIH grant down the road. So it was really critical in my career development and also in moving this field forward in terms of what diet is most appropriate for kids with fatty liver disease.
Well, that's a great segue and a great explanation. A great segue into the next question, which is, I know recently you were funded by the NIH for on the tune of about $3 million for a family-based intervention, a dietary intervention. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we used the pilot data as preliminary data for this study. We wanted to do a larger trial with about 90 families. For the first phase, the first 12 weeks, we're going to feed them all the food for the entire family. So we'll deliver groceries, they'll meet with our dietitians. So the families will either be randomized to a moderately carbohydrate restricted diet versus a fat restricted diet, which the fat restricted diet is kind of more in line with what is being prescribed to kids clinically right now. The moderately carbohydrate restricted diet is the test arm that we saw such great results in the pilot study. So there are going to be 3 different time points. We're going to measure their liver fat changes using MRI. We're also going to look at diabetes risk, if this diet can reverse the risk of type 2 diabetes by looking at changes in insulin sensitivity across this diet intervention. This is a weight maintaining study, right? So when we think about improving our health with diet, a lot of times that goes hand in hand with weight loss. But our hypothesis is that in the absence of weight loss, we can find that this diet is more effective at reducing liver fat when the kids aren't having to count calories or really think about losing weight. It's more just about improving their metabolic health and reducing their liver fat in that specific condition.
You're doing so many things and so many interesting things, but other than the two things that you talked about before, what other things are you doing today in the lab?
A lot of the research I do revolves around MRI analysis, so looking at how diet influences location of adiposity and where lipid is stored. A lot of the work I'm doing is with other investigators and looking at how using MRI to measure organ lipid content. For instance, we have a study, Barbara Gower, in type 2 diabetes, where we're looking at how diet affects pancreatic lipid. We have other studies in cystic fibrosis, where we're looking at body fat distribution. It's really kind of the idea that where you deposit fat matters. Sort of the healthy response to storing fat is to store it peripherally in subcutaneous adipose tissues. When that lipid begins to be stored in organs or in skeletal muscle or in the visceral cavity, that's when it's linked to poor metabolic health outcomes.
You know, a lot of people think of body weight that they see on the sort of the outer side, but you're saying it's really important about all the adipose or the fat that we have in our in organs and how that may be beneficial or not beneficial to our overall health. That's really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
We see so many different diets on television and in the magazines, and there's a new one every day, whether it be Noom or Weight Watchers. You know, for most people, they are interested in weight loss or at least weight maintaining. What's your best advice for someone who's looking to use nutrition to lead a more healthy life?
There's so much misinformation out there, and I guess individuals are really looking for like a rapid, quick fix. They want to lose weight fast, but what it boils down to is finding something that's sustainable, right? And it's evidence-based. You know, whether it's weight loss or trying to treat your diabetes or some other health condition that's linked to nutrition, it's really important to consider the source of the information you're taking in and implementing in your nutritional, in your dietary intake, seeking out the help of a professional, someone that's trained, an obesity medicine specialist, a registered dietitian, to give you sustainable practices in your life that can help with your health.
A lot of people say, you know, you didn't gain the weight overnight, so you shouldn't expect to lose it overnight. So I think the idea of, you know, changing your behaviors, modifying things slowly, and making it last and making it persist. Well, Amy, it has absolutely been a pleasure talking to you today, and good luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for inviting me.
Turning to SHP News now. Jim Hill, chair of the Department of Nutrition Sciences, has received a 5-year, $10.8 million award as part of the Nutrition for Precision Health study through the NIH's All of Us research program. Dr. Barbara Gower, vice chair for research in the department, will serve as the co-principal investigator. Congratulations to Paige Bates, who is the first woman of color to assume the role of class president for our MSHA program. She is a member of Class 57 and says she is driven by constantly asking herself, how can I leave a positive impact on my community? Our MS in Biotechnology program continues to help students make innovative ideas a reality. We profile a program that has provided students with real-world experience in taking products from bench to business for many years. You can see these and other stories at go.uab.edu/SHP News. Many thanks again to Amy Goss for joining me earlier. And my thanks to you for watching another edition of SHP Insight. Until next time, go Blazers!